Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, episode 91, recorded on the lake bed.
Yep.
I mean, this is incredible. Chris, co-host Chris, how the heck are you?
I'm back in the house.
You're back. We are back from KOH, and we're recording. We had so much content.
Oh my God!
Trying to catch up.
Gigabytes.
So we're recording the bumpers now, which is why we are here in the home studio. Well, we're actually in Studio L.
That's right, Studio Lance.
Studio LL. Lance and Livermore.
My camper is still on the truck in the driveway, and we're using it as a
Pretty
studio.
damn clean, by the way. You must have had Consuela come out here and Maria.
Yep, they did a little scrub down.
They do a great job.
The outside's still messy, but I'll take care of that tomorrow at work.
All right,
so.
perfect.
Gets unloaded tomorrow and put away. Very sad day when that happens.
It is. Okay, so we started at the lake bed.
Oh my God!
On Friday.
That's right.
We arrived Friday around 1.
Yeah.
Got settled in.
Shoved the stick up our nose.
And then you did. I didn't.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. How pleasant was that?
Not good.
Not good.
I mean, I passed or I failed. Or
You passed. You passed with flying colors. You weren't pregnant.
I wasn't pregnant.
So got a lot of traction out of that post, too. I put up on the story. I saved it, by the way, too, so we can revisit that next year.
Nice.
Luckily, I didn't have to do the cotton swab up the nose because I have the antibodies. I'm
well, lucky you.
I guess I'm lucky now, but I wasn't lucky when I had it. But although I didn't show a lot of symptoms, anyways, that's not here nor there.
Is ugly one of the symptoms? It
is. Is that what I got going on? I know. I got to cut my hair again. I got COVID hair.
Well, you were gone
Holy
for like
smokes.
2 weeks.
You take showers out there in your camper and a nice living the Lance life out there.
Yeah.
But man, there's nothing beats a shower when you get home.
No, to your house. Oh yeah, no, because it's unlimited water at that point.
Yeah, unlimited hot water too.
Right,
because I've got a tankless water heater at home. Holy heck, that's great.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we are here trying to organize all these different interviews we got, and we started with a huge one right out of the gate.
Absolutely.
Been wanting to get these guys on for a while. And one of them I got to interview with Snail Trail last year, so got to know him right away. But I
wasn't invited into that one.
I don't know. That wasn't me.
I know.
I was invited. It's hard to invite. When you go to parties and you're invited and go, but it's hard to invite somebody when you've been invited. Then it just where's the stop, right?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
And they told somebody, and
exactly. And now everybody just texts out, "Hey, party at this address, 1 Briarcrest," and then you have a house party that turns into a rager.
Is that the Underhills address?
That's right.
I think that's where the Underhills live.
The Underhills, 1 Briarcrest. Reservations Underhill. So, as you've probably read in the title, we sat down with none other than 3-time king.
Yes.
One of 2 3-time kings up until this current race that happened now. Now we have 3-time kings.
That's correct.
So what's that tell you? That these guys, the experience counts.
Oh my God! Well, they're just badass, all of them, and having that opportunity to talk to this badass is killer. And of course, the other guy in the room too was badass too. So,
Jason Scherer and Bailey Cole. So Jason Scherer, 3-time king,
right?
He's been on the podium for qualifying on the pole position there,
right?
First or second. I mean, for the last 7 years.
Yeah, 7 or 8
he
years
always comes out hot.
Mm-hmm.
Ran strong races, and then you got up and comer Bailey that's grew up in this stuff.
Well, yeah, he grew up out in the desert there.
Yeah, and then
hammer kid.
Yeah. So then what's really cool is we been following along with the EVE story,
right?
And that was Bailey's original car that he raced out there.
I know.
King of the Hammers in.
So many great stories,
so
and you're going to hear them all.
Yeah, to watch Bailey go from that, beat up Toyota 4Runner that's now electric. You need to do the if it was hydrogen powered, you could do the Jetson sound.
That's right, the Jetsons. We need to get that one.
So then to watch him go from that and graduate up through all the different ranks, different classes to the 4400 Premier Unlimited class,
the big dogs,
and then he's always in the top, just knocking on the door. So they formed the Rock Royalty Racing Team for the 2021 series,
right?
And so they are, Scherer just did the KOH last year, and then he disappeared.
Right.
And so this year he's going to be racing the entire series with Bailey Cole.
They're all in.
Teamed up together, and super excited when I heard this news. And I reached out. I go, I got to get this interview when we're down at KOH because to start off the season.
No, they're all in,
and
man.
Hopefully we can continue and circle back with them this season and follow up with their racing and what's going on with their cars. Troy Lee Design, there's did the new graphics on their helmets and cars. So you're going to hear about all that coming up. But there's two things that was kind of interesting that was said during the interview. And then now, mind you, this interview happened Friday before the big race.
Before qualifying and before the race.
7 days, basically, before the big race,
Exactly.
When we first got to the lake bed. So let's go ahead and roll right into this interview because I know our listeners don't want to hear us talk. They want to hear
they
what Jason Scherer and Bailey Cole have to say.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and roll that, Chris, when you're ready.
Roll it.
All right. Wheeling Wine and Whiskey is here with some icons of the Ultra 4 sport. Bailey Cole.
That's correct, yes.
And Jason Scherer.
Awesome.
So this is awesome. So thank you, gentlemen, for carving out some time out of your busy schedule here at Hammers Week. We're catching you early before things go crazy here, so that's good. So welcome, and let's talk racing, boys.
Thank you so much for having us. We're looking forward to it, and things are going well.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be on, you guys. Love the show, and I think you're wrong, though. I think the chaos already started. What do you think, Bailey? I already did a transmission. How about you? How's things going for you?
I mean, things are going as well as they could.
We were going to get a carnage update, but you're already jumping into it. So
that's right. Let's just go right at it.
So how long have you guys been on the lake bed?
I've been out here for about 10 days already, and we're 7 days from race day. So I'll be out here for about half a month.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I came in on Wednesday, so this is actually my third night, full night here. And so it feels like there's not a week in the year where days go faster than this. And it's just absolutely wild because, you come down and it takes you time to set up everything, and then you go out and you do stuff and you have a plan. And half the time the plan doesn't work out, and you look up and you're like, it's already dark out again. I can't believe how fast the days go here.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but it felt like all of 2020 dragged on forever until about November, December time, and then it was literally we're on the lake bed. It felt like within 20 minutes.
Well,
it was
like
insane.
Christmas. You hit Christmas, and then it's like right after that, it's now KOH.
KOH is like living life in dog years or something. I mean,
no kidding.
There you go.
Just speeds up.
I know, and I know you guys are thankful too, but I'm just so happy this event is happening amidst all this COVID, stuff that's been going on in our crazy world here.
It's a good time to shout out to Bailey's dad, Dave, because he really had a drive to get this race to happen. And I think if you really look at like the society in general, I think people are quick to pull the trigger, to pull back on everything. And he decided, you know what, we've pulled back. It's time to get this done. And man, I cannot believe it. I have to tell you the truth. I honestly can't believe he's pulled this off.
I can't either. I mean, there was a lot of naysayers, and I'm optimistic guy and trying to keep a positive attitude, but I'm like, I was already had it in my mind that KOH 2021 is not going to happen. So, hats off to your dad. I can't imagine the conversations as it was going on in your household back and forth.
Yeah, no kidding. But it actually all worked out as well as it could, and it actually seems like we're all doing it pretty safe. Most of us are wearing our masks, especially in Hammertown, and we all got tested.
Yep.
So everything's, I think, running real smooth.
And it was seamless going through the gate. This morning,
You didn't have to shove a stick up your nose.
And all that. So I mean, it's great. I mean, and we're out in the desert.
Yeah,
you know, we're outside. We're having fun, motorsports, and this is great.
The sound of
fresh air and race gas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Heard some of the trophy trucks running around as soon as we got here this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, we're at Hammers. Yeah, this is great.
Bring it on.
Yeah, there's the good old Hammer noises. You got cars running at 5 a.m. and cars running at midnight. So welcome to the Hammers. Right?
I think between 3:30 and 5 is like quiet time here, where it's quieter time, I should say.
3:30.
That's about when the fireworks start to go off. You know,
the mortars stop about 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
What goes wrong between mortars and race gas? I don't know.
Exactly.
And then the early risers are up at 5 and getting their engines warmed up and heading out and doing a little pre-running and stuff.
And if that doesn't get it for you, I saw that they're doing live fire ammunition testing and bombing at 29 Palms this week, so we'll have the ground shakers as well.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's not an earthquake. It's just, you know.
So no sleep at all.
$1 million worth of bombs going down.
You don't deserve it anyway.
So it's also KOH week. There's no time for sleep.
Right.
No.
So real quick, I mean, is this all just race, or is there a time for you guys to kind of recreate and hang out and just chill? Or is it just go?
Starting Sunday, I'm in a race car pretty much every day from there to the finish line.
Okay, so no wreck wheeling.
No. And that doesn't include the pre-running that we've already started. So it's pretty much go, nonstop.
Right on. Well, let's dive into it. So let's talk about the week and how that's going for you.
Yes, what the prep to it and what you guys have done to your cars new this year. I know there's a new number on your car, Bailey.
Yeah, we changed up numbers a little bit. It's just kind of an old family number, and it all worked out that way. Been trying to get JT's number for years and years, number 13, and he finally let me get it.
He's like a pro.
It all worked out.
His co-dog's tickling his ear right now. I don't know what's going on over here.
Man, you should see what happens in the race car. It gets weird.
Mic'd up.
I hope you can see under that dash, bro. I don't want to know, though. I tried to drive in Bailey's car, just so you guys know, and I couldn't see over the dash. So he's got a lot of protection in there.
Yeah. You know,
wow.
It's hiding from all the Maxxis tires out there. It's throwing roosts for days. Man, riding behind Shannon when he used to be on them, it was awful.
Shannon and Levi. Levi was
man.
It was like running behind a tractor. You're like, really?
He used to throw like piles of dirt, especially at like the Sacramento race and stuff. Oh,
right,
man.
Prairie City.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. So you're running number 13 now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go.
Lucky number 13.
And got some new colors on the car. And
yep. So we actually partnered with Troy Lee as well.
Okay.
So he designed the wrap for the cars. He designed our helmets. And he is in the process of designing our gear. So that should be released here pretty soon as well.
Okay. So for both of you guys, for Rock Royalty Racing.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty cool, actually, to have like a really professionally designed team gear. You know, we got all of our team guys and everything. We also have a lot of fans that want the shirts, and just to make something that's actually like really cool, something that you'd be proud to wear around and everything. It's good to team up with somebody that has that great design and style, and it's been kind of a neat deal. And I got to jump into this, you guys. I'm so excited about it. I can't really like hold it out, but I got really cool news. We're going to be racing our 4400 car, the number 76, as a Bronco this year.
There it is.
Yep. I've been down here for a few days doing filming with the guys at Ford Performance. Everyone's out here. There's 3 of us that are going to be in there. It's Vaughn Gittin, Lauren Healy, and myself.
All right.
And we have like identically bodied 4400 cars that are all Ford Performance Broncos. So
Fantastic.
It's really awesome.
That is awesome.
And,
that's so cool.
When Troy did the design for that was my segue into that, was that Troy designed the wrap on mine, and I got to see it this morning in the sunlight coming up, like right at sunrise. The skies were awesome, and like to look at it in the background. And Larry Chin was doing all the photos out there, and I'm looking at it going, that's actually one of the sickest cars I've ever seen. And I'm like, I can't believe it's mine.
You're like, that's my car.
Well, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah. So, just so everyone that's listening here, we're doing a launch, and you guys are going to hear about this right about the same time the launch comes out. But we're going to do a launch on this thing with Ford. So they're really putting a lot of marketing effort into it and making a big splash with it. So they'll be released. They'll be released here in Hammertown on the 3rd, and everybody will be able to see it. So it's pretty cool.
Right
there you
on.
go. Hear it here first on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Damn right.
So, you put a Ford motor into your car this year, and how much testing have you done with that engine?
Oh, you know what? It was such a great program. So Ford Performance came to me and kind of finalized a deal with putting together a Ford powertrain and converting my car. And, as you guys know, I mean, most of the sport, we just kind of jumped to the LS stuff.
Right.
And it was really easy.
Yeah.
The aftermarket support for those was really good. And I think it's really gone that way for most of the sport.
Sure.
I'd probably say it's, 9/10 of the lake beds on an LS platform or something, right?
Well,
And
it's easy to get parts for, and it's fairly inexpensive, too.
And then, what's trippy is you look at like the trophy trucks over the years, and they ran a lot of Ford power plants. So, the off-road community was really had a lot of Ford influence in it. And so when we decided to look at what we could put in there was quite a few options. And we decided to go with what was like really originally the Windsor-based program.
Okay.
They've got a
Right.
special cylinder head that was actually like a Yates cylinder head called the D3 head.
Yeah.
And so Ford and I, put together this idea to like, okay, let's use an engine builder that's local so they can support the program. So we chose Dugan's. So Ray Fields built a very similar motor to what he's put in a lot of the trophy trucks over the years with the D3 heads. And man, it's a total transformation. The torque and the RPM it comes on at, it's like first and foremost, it's so much fun to drive. It actually transformed my car. It's like, you can't stop smiling, and you feel like a little kid, and the most I can relate it to is a little kid on a 2-stroke dirt bike that's just sitting there going, wop, 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 all day, because that's how I feel out there pre-running in it. I'm like, this is the wop, wop car, brop, brop, and you just want to do it everywhere you can.
So, this is just the Ford motor in your old... I don't want to say old chassis, but your chassis that you've been running, and so nothing changed but the power plant, and you are seeing significant
huge
torque,
gains,
horsepower.
super happy with the way it performs. It was interesting today too to run the first lap, the efficiency. Sometimes you worry, you get all this power and you're going to just have like terrible mileage or build all this heat or all these other issues.
Sure.
And, none of those actually were true. We actually have about the same efficiency on mileage that we had before.
Good.
I think there's a certain amount of efficiency that comes with the motor not having to work as hard to do the same amount of effort. So, that part was great. The cooling system from C&R that they designed to work with it was flawless, so we haven't had any temp issues. And it's been just... it's all smiles out there.
Perfect.
And,
little pro tip: if you're easy on the gas pedal, not wop wop wop, maybe a little bit better fuel economy.
yeah, it's
there, Jason.
hard to lay off on that.
You're three-time king over
No,
here.
I'm giving him advice, right?
Hey, I'll take everything I can get, man.
The day we got the motor tuned that first day, you came out to the desert, you let me drive it, and wop, wop, wop. It just feels, it's
So
a
what
good
kind
car.
of specs are on that motor as far as torque, horsepower, stuff like that, or what do you know? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, no problem.
displacement
So it's a 460 cubic inch small block Ford. So
Small block.
Yep, which is it's actually funny because Ford has a 460, which is a
460
big block,
yeah.
But it's a small block 460. It's just
Bored
the
out
way
a
it
little
works out. Well, in the way it specs out when you stroke it and bore it to that,
Right.
it ends up at 460, which is really similar to like if you just went with a smaller cylinder wall, didn't quite bore it out as much, you'd end up with a 454, which wouldn't be a great number, right? So we were like, yeah, let's go with the 460. But anyway, no, that wasn't it. It was just the size that worked out perfect, and it was quite a program. We designed a different bell housing to go with the Reed 4L80 on that, the Super 80 that they've got. So, Dennis Reed jumped in and built a custom bell housing. It was the full-blown go to the pattern maker, pour the casting, make this special setup. And so there's a little bit of behind-the-scenes work that went into it. But it has been, really a good partnership with Dugan's and all the guys that helped me get everything dialed in. And, it was neat, too, because when Bailey and I decided to team up, and I know we've kind of jumped around a little bit, but we decided to team up and all this. Bailey got to be part of going down to Dugan's with us, and James Lynn was doing the tuning, and just like really cool, motorsports quality people, and helped elevate the program. So it was cool to be able to partner with those guys and kind of get us to go maybe that like next level that we're all striving for and trying to find out what's out there. So it's been a great experience. I'm really stoked to be able to actually like be part of all those things. You dream about them a little bit, and then when it starts to come together, you're like, wow, this really is living the dream.
That's so cool, man. Right on. Bailey, what do you got going on in your car now that's new for 2021 season per se? Other than cool graphics and a new number.
Yeah, we got cool new graphics and a new number, but really it's mostly the same car. We got a little upgrade in the shock department. We went with some orange shocks, some Fox shocks.
I see that. Fox.
They're pretty impressive.
Which Jason's been running for years.
Yep, and I've actually been on them for a lot of years too. It's just last year we got the car used and it had different color shocks on it. And it's just kind of how it worked out last year, but we were able to make that switch over this off season, and I'm really excited about it. I would say that's one of the biggest change in Rage wheels. That's kind of an upgrade.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Jason's got his mouth full here.
So me and Jason, with this whole team up, we started the Rock Royalty, which we kind of bounced around a little bit.
Rock Royalty Racing.
So we teamed up, and Jason has a great production line for OEM vehicles with Jeeps and coming out with Bronco stuff in the future with Rage 4th, and we're teaming up and starting a wheel company as well.
Look at you guys go.
I know. And
do you ever sleep?
We have a lot of ideas, and what's cool is between all of us now we're able to kind of get some of those ideas to actually come to fruition, because the devil's in the details.
Sure.
We have a really strong partnership on the retail side and on the racing side with 4 Wheel Parts, and so it's been a really great thing for us. Like 4 Wheel Parts, I mean, everyone can kind of go back and say, like, for a while they were like the Walmart of off-road stores, and they've changed their whole brand, and I think I give a lot of credit to Craig and Joey and everybody over there that's really made them become the epicenter of like all things off-road again. And so when we were making bumpers and accessories for the Jeep market, rockers and all that stuff, and then we put together this Ford deal that came together. We got the Bronco and we started working on parts for it, and Bailey and I teaming up, we're like, you know what? It's time that we build a wheel. We know so much about them. We want so much, we want the performance of, a forged wheel, the weight, the savings that you get, the strength that you get. But nobody's really making a forged beadlock wheel for the rock crawling thing that's affordable.
Are they going to be beadlocks then, or they'll be genuine beadlocks?
They'll be forged beadlocks.
Yeah. So they'll be strong. They'll be super strong.
Stuff that up to this point, the high-level Ultra 4 guys and like Trophy Truck, those type of racers have only been using, and not really much on the street. We're trying to make it more affordable and actually bring to your Bronco and your Jeeps.
Very cool.
We're proving them by racing them at King of the Hammers.
Yeah.
So they've been on my car. We've been working on them. Bailey's got them on his car. They're light. They're strong.
I like the design too.
Yeah, they look killer.
Yeah,
don't
they do look killer.
So it's awesome that we found something, and I think that goes along with our brand. Like, we don't want to build anything low quality or cheap or anything. It's just we don't care if we don't sell a lot of volume. We just want to make sure that whatever we put our name on is super high quality, and it's been that way with the bumpers that we made.
Yeah,
and
I was
going to
say you started with the bumpers, and those have been great reviews, and I've seen them, and they are built like a brick shit house. I mean, they're super strong, and
hammered on
and
at the hammers,
and that's great. And that market has proven itself. I mean, this four-wheeling stuff's not cheap, but people are just behind it at 110%, and few extra bucks for high quality parts, they're willing to throw that money out there. So,
well, think about it too, with the Bronco coming out, and then of course you've got this huge influx of people that are getting into the recreational side of it. The pre-orders for the new Broncos, the people that are buying the Gladiators, they're buying the Jeep Wranglers. These things are flying out of the showrooms, and people are going down the street and they're buying wheel and tire packages, or they're buying lifts and whatnots, whether it's from 4 Wheel Parts or whoever. I mean, you go out to any trail on any weekend now, and you see JKs and JLs and mass. It's crazy.
$40,000 of aftermarket parts on them.
Yeah.
And one thing me and Jason have really agreed on from the beginning is if you can build something right the first time, go with that.
Yep.
There's no point
Absolutely.
in doing it over and over again.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
great philosophy.
And it's nice to kind of increase the performance of your car as opposed to putting a big heavy wheel on it that's cast and it takes away from all the aspects of performance. I mean, that heavy rotating mass out there just makes them drive poorly, and I think there's a lot of people who still care about it. The Raptor crowd cares about that stuff too.
Sure.
There's a new Raptor coming out, right? With Ford's got the new F-150 out there, and so the new Raptor's in the works, and people are going to want to make sure that if you spend that money on something, you get the performance of the new Raptor. You're probably going to want to put a decent wheel on it, not something that's kind of offshore cast wheel, right?
Right. And the Raptor crowd's not shy of spending money.
No,
they're not shy
And neither
at
is
all.
the overlanding
No,
crowd.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we love that stuff, right? I mean, we grew up camping, we grew up going out and doing adventure stuff like that in the trucks, and I think that it kind of fits in line with us with what we're doing, and we've got a cool trip planned at the end of March. We're going to actually take an off-road trip where we go basically off-road 730 miles of it on our way to Moab to go to Easter Jeep Safari.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Right on. Yeah, you guys did that trip in Mexico, and that was awesome. Hearing about all that and all you guys.
Yeah, Cameron Steele's trips and all that. Man, I'm so fortunate to know Cameron. He's such a great guy, and he's like not just a good person. He's like just a solid spirit all the way around when you're hanging out with him. And he's invited me into his family to go do some of that stuff over the last couple of years. And man, I couldn't be more fortunate. I mean, honestly, all this Ford stuff and everything was all because Cameron and I had a relationship that started, of all places, on the stage, because he was the announcer at King of the Hammers when I won back-to-back Ultra, King of the Hammers races.
Right.
And so he was up there on the stage, and we made a bond. He's like, you got to go down to Mexico with us and do the trail emissions thing. And, the next thing I know, I'm in the Bronco R because of him, and make a relationship with Ford, and this stuff starts to grow. So couldn't thank him enough for it, man. He's just such a good guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That is freaking awesome.
You boys like Mexico?
Yeah. All right, so you guys have been doing a little pre-running out here. What's the course look like? What are you guys seeing? What I know some things have changed up big time. More rock heavy. This King of the Hammers that your JT has set up and your dad and stuff.
Yeah,
so let's talk about this.
I think last year everybody kind of said it was too easy. And whenever everybody says it's too easy, the next year
game on
turns out to not be so easy anymore. And then everybody's like, wow, this race is super hard. We go another 2 or 3 years, and then another group is like, no, it's too easy. And then we have to do this whole process over again.
Cycle?
Right.
But so the rocks are harder than I think I've ever seen them. We're going up Jack, up Sledge, up Bender Alley, up Outer Limits, down Spooners.
I got to say, the trails are harder than they've ever been on the same trails. And I think, the reason is, and you brought it up earlier, people are out recreating.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 10,000 people here for Thanksgiving weekend, right? And so you start, and I think that's probably why the race was able to go on. I mean, if 10,000 people are going to show up to go to an outdoor area, what's the difference if people show up to go to watch the race and see the same thing because they're all going outside? But the fact that this place is on the map and people are recreating and coming out, which is awesome, right? I mean, it's such a great place. Families are enjoying it. Guys are having a good time. People are getting out and doing stuff. The trails have become harder. More stuff is shelved out and a little bit more difficult. And then the rains come in and wash stuff back in and it changes. So it's...
Have you been to Outer Limits yet?
Not this trip yet.
I truly don't know if it's drivable right now.
Oh my god.
That top section is so undercut. Like, really, the line that we've been driving for years and years that we drive up, I know I've driven it a time and I've seen Jason walk right up it, and I don't think it's drivable right now.
Whoa.
Smokes. We were out wreck wheeling out there last year during the Hammers, and it was I think I scared Chris a few times.
There was one point where I was sitting in the buggy and we were towards the top, and I said, I'm not getting out because it was like a 14-foot drop.
Yep, that sounds about right.
So,
oh my gosh,
it's definitely going to be nice to have our worn winches on this one.
Wow.
Yeah. So
this is the 2021 winchathon.
Yeah. So what is the strategy going into this?
Don't
year?
break.
Yeah, don't. It's always
Don't be
preserve
that
the
guy.
car. I mean, And Jason, you're the 3-time king. I mean, it's just, I know there's you do a tremendous amount of prep. These top teams do, but I mean, you get out there on the race course, and a stupid little 10-cent part can take you out. A rock moves. I mean, there's a lot that's not in your control, and I hate to use the word luck, but I mean, it's just you prepare as much as you can, and you get out there, and what's going through your mind? How do you guys kind of prepare for that day, that race day?
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, first of all you have to do to win, it's a super simple formula, is be super fast and not break, right? But that doesn't always work. And so, you don't always make the mistakes, but they end up being that 10-cent part. And I think being mentally prepared for that is super important part of the game plan, because when things fail, you need to just solve the situation and move on. Because I think a lot of people are like, well, that's it. The power steering pump's out. And you're like, well, you got a spare one in the bag. Like, just how fast can you change it? Can you make it a good, get back in, know that you've solved whatever issue it was that caused it, and get back out there and keep racing, because you still have a shot. It's not over. Yeah. So you gotta be mentally prepared for that. And the flat tires, because you cut it on a rock just because it was your fault that you hit that rock, and you're like, oh, you can't get down on yourself. You're like, hey, forward. Just change tire, get back in, and rip again.
I feel like this year's winner is going to have 30 minutes of downtime, whether it's winching, changing a tire,
There'll be a story at the end of the race.
I don't think you can get through this race without having a story.
Yeah. And the other thing is I think this is more of like a philosophical thing about the racing, and then about the team and all this. And it's changed on me, right? When I was really a hobbyist racer in this, and we were kind of going through those early years of the sport, we didn't have the background. I didn't have, people that had explained to me, that things should function, and you test them to make them function. And once they've proven their durability through that, durability cycle, that they're compatible and they'll work, and that you should be able to go out there and do the race at that same pace and have everything work. So I would kind of blame whatever failed on whatever failed. And I've changed my attitude to be like, and granted, there's a limited amount of budget, so you can't just do it to the 10th degree. But as much as you can, you have to take ownership of every part on that car and find a way to say, hey, I know this part is going to function for the length of this race. And we can drive it this way and maintain it, and we've already done our testing, and we know it's going to work. And so, it's so frustrating to blame the part manufacturer, the person who assembled it, whatever, for whatever it is, because if you really break it down, it's an excuse, and you can't have those. You just can't. Racing at this level, you've got to stop with the excuses and find solutions and find a way to make it all work. And of course, we're still at the stage where we're doing this out of our home garages and stuff. We don't have the backing, the R&D centers, the testing facilities to go out and really get to where we need to be, but we're on the right path.
It's well said, and I like. I mean, that's the great thing about Ultra 4 is it is guys coming out of the garage, and here Jason Scherer saying, oh yeah, I'm working out of a garage, 3-time king. I mean, it's just such a cool sport, and.
Yeah, but he started with a CJ just like
I know. He started out just rock crawling and stuff like the rest of us. Rick
still have the CJ.
Right on.
And Bailey has grown up with this thing. You were out here jumping a Suzuki Samurai when you were a kid, right? So I mean, and it's been great. Some of the videos coming out, and you're like, hey, where are you going? Oh, we're going to go try going up back door. So okay, this is awesome. I mean, it's just it's such a cool sport, but it has evolved so much and.
So quickly.
We're not at the NASCAR level, thank God, but I mean, you guys, these top teams are taking it so, you have to take it serious because you've got so much time, money, everything invested. You got all these people helping you. It's not the days where you're slamming beers at the campfire the night before the race. I mean, you guys have got to perform, and you're doing, your CrossFit and all this stuff, and it's like, I mean, it's crazy to see it evolve, but I still love hearing you say that. We're just working out of a garage with a limited budget and making things happen, and that's a really cool aspect, I think, and how everybody helps each other. The trade secrets, there's not a whole lot of trade secrets. Everybody's pretty open book until they get to the race course, right? And I hope the sport continues like that.
I listened on the drive down here. I re-listened to the interview you did with Wyatt Pemberton, the Talent Tank.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that you said in there was great. And one of the things that you talked about and you mentioned was that hopefully it never gets to the point where it's like NASCAR, where the regular spectators, like at this point, the spectators can still go into the pits and kind of go in and say, hey, how you doing, and hopefully not get too involved in your stuff, but still it's open and you can walk into the pits and be cool about it. If it gets to the point where, I'm sorry, the pits are closed, you can't go in there, or you need a special pit pass that costs $2,000 or whatever, hopefully that day never comes.
And that would have cost me last year's Crandon race, and actually part of my team, one of my main team members was a spectator at Crandon, watched my slight mistake, my little bath.
So let's talk
submarino.
Let's definitely go into
that. Are
that.
your seats dried out yet?
I hope so. Probably not.
We joke about it, but I'll tell you what, that had to be kind of...
That was
dude.
insane. I mean, honestly, insane. And we can laugh about it now, but I mean, that could have ended very badly.
I mean, the whole car was totally, completely submerged.
Yeah, so...
And the worst part is, he tried to go out his front windshield, and he had that rock screen in there from Crandon.
Oh, my God.
So he had to regroup and get his window net up and go out the other window. I'm like, I don't know if I could have done that underwater.
Well, it's not easy to get out of these cars. I mean, you got not only your seatbelts, you got the window net, you got your air and radio system and all that stuff. I mean, how... I mean, I know it was just your adrenaline going and you do the thing, but what the hell was going through your mind and holy hell?
So if you watch that video, I'm cruising through the dust and all of a sudden the dust clears and I see the ponds in front of me and I'm like, this is going to suck. And
that's a quick thought.
And, I figured it was 3-4 feet deep. I was going to have to clean out the car a little bit, but that was about it. And if you watch that video, I actually killed the car before I even hit the water.
Oh, wow.
Saved the motor.
Saved the motor, yeah.
I mean, the motor was still full of water, but at least it didn't break stuff.
Rods.
So, I hit the water, and I figure, it's going to splash up, but it's going to be okay. And all the next thing I know is tidal waves coming in, and it smacks me upside the head, and I'm like, wow, this really sucks.
Yeah.
And then, cruising along, and now I'm underwater, and it's pitch black, and I'm like, wow, this really, really sucks.
Yeah.
And just kind of sit there for a second, and I'm like, well, I know what to do now. And undid my seatbelt, and I did lean forward and try to go out the window, and I hit my head on the mesh, and it's like, okay, that's not going to work. Sat back in the seat. Then just undid the window net and swam out. And it's one of those things that I was happy I didn't, catch my shoelace on anything or anything. But it all worked out as good as it could, but also, just worked.
You have to be relieved to be at the Hammers, because if you find a pond out here...
Well,
this year, it's possible. With the rain we got,
I know.
I'm getting a little PTSD over here.
Well, what's that dry lake bed? Is it still a dry lake bed out there?
It's not really dry right now.
But and then so let's circle back, I should say, to what you said. So
my main team was out there, and they were like, "What the?"
Yeah. And we don't prepare for this stuff.
Yeah, no. But they actually started tearing the car apart instantly, and this random guy walked up, and his name was Sean, and he was like, well, can I watch you guys take this apart? I watch you go in the water, and I want to help out.
Yeah.
And my crew chief was like, no, you can't watch, but you can help. And he was like, well, okay. And then he started wrenching. They got the motor fired up that night and got it all back buttoned up perfectly in the morning, went out and raced the next day. And then 2 weeks later, he helped me rebuild it again in Wyoming right before the Moab race, because that was 1 week later. And then the next week he moved to California, and I was working on the car.
Wow.
I mean, I thought you were semi-joking when we first walked into the tent here, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is Sean, and he's my what'd you call him, crew chief or
co-crew chief?
Co-crew chief. And I'm like, okay,
car chief, yeah.
Yeah, and you told the quick version of that story that, he helped rebuild the car after I submarined it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And, cool guy, whatever. But holy hell, spectator became co-crew chief. I mean, that's the sport.
Yep.
Well, and you find
Travis,
the best people
who's
just
my
by accident.
regular crew chief, lives in Missouri, so he just he has to go back and forth. And since Sean lives in California, he helps out on the day-to-day stuff, and everything works out.
I love it.
Couldn't do it without those guys.
That's awesome.
You know, I think that there's like such a cool vibe. I mean, we don't really hold back any of the stuff that we're learning in the sport from the other drivers, right? So,
No.
you know, people are coming in, they're asking me questions. There's a lot of builders in this industry that are cool. You know, the Joe Thompsons and the Adam Scherers and all these guys that are building cars on the daily. And
Right.
then they'll call you and they'll say, hey, what do you think of this? And I'm like, oh, dude, you got to check this out. You know, a couple of months back, when we were working on one of these projects, I talked to Quinn at 74 Weld, and he's like, yeah, I'm building these portals. And I'm like, I really want to build a portal car, right? And so he's going through all this stuff, and the next thing you know, I'm like, don't do that. Get Tom from Spider Tracks has got this other hub that you probably haven't seen. Here, I got the drawings on it, right? And it says like 56 spine hub, and it's even narrower.
It's
and
half the price, but twice as strong.
Yeah, and so we put all this, you know, we put all this stuff together, and you're sitting there, and it's like, here I am. He's building portals for Lauren and Vaughn, who are going to compete against me, and I'm like helping them with the design of the part to make it better. Because I think that at no point right now are we at the stage where we're trying to beat each other. We're trying to beat the race course, and I don't know that, you know, we're going to. Maybe we will get to a point where we're going to have to try to, you know, worry about that other stuff. But I think Bailey said it so well. The winner's going to have a story about how they were down for half an hour winching over, you know, something. Or
look at it last
braking.
year. Josh Blyler rolled.
Yeah, right.
Marcos Gomez ripped the front of his car off.
Right.
Yeah.
Eric Miller alternator or something.
Something silly.
He
Yeah.
broke something.
Silly stuff
And then
with
I
wiring.
drove the whole last lap without front limit straps.
What?
So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So there's your top four.
Yeah.
Right. No flawless days, really. You know, the guys that were leading the race early in this thing, including Bailey Campbell. You know, everybody that was leading seemed to have some sort of a curse.
Our friend Cam.
Cameron was, you know, I thought he had that thing. At one point, I'm like, oh, yes, he's going to show up and dominate, you know. But anyway, it's one of those things where I think we can still have the camaraderie against, you know, amongst the drivers to develop the cars, develop the sport, help move things forward, because we're still fighting so many mechanics. I mean, what's the average? 70+% attrition rate on this thing. So, you know,
I don't think it's far off.
yeah, it's close. I know it's varied over the years, right? But you know, the cars get better, the courses get harder, cars get faster,
right?
You know, things break differently.
So,
it's still there at that stage.
If we go back 15 years and you got handed this year's race course, what would you say?
Ooh, I like that question.
How many days do we have to finish?
This is a week-long event, right?
Wow.
That's a
Who's
great
camping
analogy.
where? And I'm not camping with you on Spooners, by the way.
Well, I mean,
Or Chocolate Thunder,
your little
or
spoon.
Backdoor. Those are three places that are off limits from camping. I just want to make it perfectly clear.
That's awesome.
How about front door?
wow.
Yes, front door is okay.
So, if
All
you,
right, here we go.
The new obstacle that was added, was it the King's Graveyard?
Yeah, Dead Blow Trail.
Dead Blow.
How's that looking for you?
I haven't seen it yet, so you're going to have to tell him. But I did talk to SoCal Mark, who happens to have been the guy who initially broke that trail. Great old school pirate guy, fabulous fabricator.
He did it in his IFS car too, right?
Yeah,
that
up
thing
it.
just worked.
He's just a solid driver. He's been kind of a step ahead. Nobody ever told him where the box was.
Okay.
So he builds whatever he wants, and he uses his mind to figure out like the engineering behind it, and doesn't let people tell him, no, you can't do it that way. And he's been that way since the first time I met him, when he and his kid probably couldn't have been 5 years old, and they were driving around out here in 08, 09, stuff like that. And, you know, he's broken a ton of cool trails. But anyway, not to digress too much, but he broke that trail, and he said, yeah, it's really tough. And when Mark says it's really tough, it's no joke.
Well, I mean, watching the videos of Cody Wagner with their moon buggies going up that trail, and
Forced
it's just
gear
like,
buggies.
yeah, it's like, okay,
Yeah. No, it's
and
pretty
you went
legit.
down it, baby.
So I stole Donnie's car, who's the caretaker up at the property up here.
Okay.
He has an 2010 rear-engine Jimmy's car, if you guys remember those cars.
Okay.
Not too many of them were sold, but they still beat around a bit. And they are aren't great at dropping off of stuff. So it was interesting going down that trail, but it all worked out. It's probably about the difficulty of Outer Limits, but for a bit longer. And then in the middle, it has 3 of the most legit obstacles even going down that I've been on out here at the Hammers.
Okay.
Holy heck.
One of the line is about a 6-foot drop-off, where then you have to climb up the wall, up the canyon wall,
Okay.
front burn off the edge, but you have to drive far enough up the wall to front burn around so your rear tire doesn't climb the wall and send you over forward.
Oh, geez.
And, yeah, that's going to be really fun for those SCS guys.
What is front dig?
Yeah. It's a good thing I don't know anybody that has that problem.
Right.
Oh, this is great.
So they said that because of that addition, I heard, I don't know, I mean, you probably have first knowledge of it, is that they're going to have that part of the trail lit and have cameramen there because they expect the winners to arrive in Hammertown after dark this year.
This could be the first year that the winner finishes in the dark. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to bring a sleeping bag as part of my prep. That's what I'm thinking.
There's going to be a sleeping bag on the roof of Jason's car.
Nice.
So spooning off limits in King's Graveyard?
Jesus.
No, but I was thinking about calling Cody up and seeing if he can laser cut some rest in peace signs for the cars, Just stake them out there as people go by.
Holy moly.
I truly think recovery out there is going to have to be a helicopter. And they're just going to
Holy
have to
moly.
helicopter them in and out.
Wow.
And that's, hopefully that doesn't happen, but the first couple cars get in there and then just grenade.
Oh, no.
And then,
Get all wadded up.
because it doesn't sound like you can get around anybody in there. I mean, there's one line.
So I walked down it the other day with our other friends, the Monkey with the Knife guys, and they haven't really been out here before, so I was just showing them down it. And there were a couple other racers that I don't really want to name names, but one of them got up on that waterfall and rolled off the top of it.
Oops.
How
And
many
then-
times? Just one?
It's actually a pretty cool obstacle because when you roll, you only go the first one because there's a nice shelf afterwards.
Can you land back on your tires and make it part of your line? All you have to do is put it in reverse.
You're
as soon as your
pretty
front bumper
talented.
hits the
I think
ground.
you could do it.
I learned it on RC cars. You can just flip them down, hit reverse.
So if you just turn into it and mat it, I think you just pop up on wheels every time, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah, that's
It'll work out.
we'll be fine.
I'll film you. Show me how it's done.
sounded good in my head.
I'll tell you if it works. I don't know.
Right.
But so yeah, if that happens during race day, things could get pretty legit pretty quick.
So you guys plan on pre-running that in your cars?
No.
Or is that, you're not going to pre-run
I'm
your
not
cars,
touching that
right?
with my
That's all
car.
going to be in other vehicles, other pre-runner stuff.
I'm just gonna
because
hike
you don't
it.
wanna-
My 2 feet.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy heck.
Back in the rock crawling days, though, we did a lot of that, right? Like competition rock crawling courses, you didn't get to pre-run them. You stuck your arms from the cone over and figured out how wide the wheels were, and you're like, we're going
Right.
to come right through here, and all that stuff. So, but I wouldn't be surprised to see like the old school stuff where you back into something and turn around on the wall and stuff like that on this, because it's that much of a obstacle that you'd actually like to be maybe in a different position.
Wow.
Yeah, no, one of the lines, you have to pivot around this massive rock. It's
Okay.
actually right after that big waterfall. You have to pivot around a rock that's probably about half the size of this 10. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
thick.
Cody showed that rock. It's
Oh, yeah.
massive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you had to get around it, but there's about as wide... How wide's your car, Jason?
91.5 inches.
There's about 90 inches of space.
Perfect.
Wow. That's all you need.
Mine's 92. I don't think I'm going to fit. It's that close. And you just have to kind of pivot around the rock and then drive 180 off the next ledge.
So is this part of, I don't know, I'm just talking out loud here, but is this where you get your co-dog out there and start spotting through this stuff? I mean...
I'm not rolling down that rock alone. He's in the for the ride.
there you go.
Stay in the car. Don't get out.
Burger, your right seat again?
Yeah, they call him CrossFit Sally
Yeah,
for a
CrossFit
reason.
Sally.
He'll probably be out of the car by then.
I loved watching you guys work together. You guys work together so well during the rock crawling at Donner and stuff.
You
And
remember
it's so
that,
much
huh?
fun. And yeah, he's a tyrant on that rope, keeping
Oh,
you from
yeah.
rolling over and stuff.
And probably more today than even all the way back then. I mean, the guy is just like such a beast, but I think that dynamic of the two of us, he's such a good motivator, and this race has a way of you kind of getting in a lull because it's so long.
Right.
It starts off as feeling like a sprint race, but really the first lap's like a buy-in, right? It's like the buy-in to go, okay, cool, check that off your list. Now you got to go do all the rock trails. And then lap 3, okay, go do all the rock trails again. And for some reason, when you get, when it comes time to go do them all again, it's a little hard to motivate yourself after you already made it back to camp. You've made it through all the trails once, and now you got to go do it again. And you're like, man, I'd much rather go back and have lunch,
Right.
So he gets you going. He gets you pumped up. He's like, hey, pick up the pace. Keep it up. This is the places we need to make time. Keep going.
Right.
Keep charging, and he gets us through all that. And then when it gets really gnarly, he pretty much just says, you got this, you got this, you got this, regardless of where we're going to end up. But, it's great because somebody's got to say, hey, go for it. Otherwise, you start second guessing yourself and you get in a position where you're like, I don't know if we're on the right line. We're going to hit it. And it's like, no, go for it, go for it, go for it.
This.
And then he'll just go, okay, I'm getting out and winching, and that's it. So, it's a great,
already unbuckled and halfway out the window.
Yeah, he's already made his plan already,
So with this pay-per-view footage option, are you guys part of the in-car crew, camera crew, or do you know yet if you're going to have a camera in your car?
I haven't been told yet.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I think that I just overheard them saying that most of the people in Power Hour would be on there.
Okay.
And then I think they're going to select a handful of drivers for the actual race, but I don't know who they are. And it may be that it ends up something with like who qualified where kind of deal.
Right.
So I don't know what the decision is there. I hope we are.
Yeah.
I hope we are.
That'd be a hoot.
I hope they have some
my
audio between you guys too. Your driver, co-driver going on there. That would be great if they would broadcast some of that.
We're pretty good. I actually, if they'll do that, I think I would just like come home. My drive home from the race would be to listen to like Tom Waze's channel.
Yeah. I don't know if mine would be totally safe.
No.
Just put an explicit label.
Yeah, we have an explicit label
on this podcast. I mean, it's just it's all good.
So having said that, when you're just bopping along on the driving like in a, let's call it a mellow section of the race, you're in the desert doing 100 miles an hour, are you guys just sitting there talking about hanging out at a bar later on, or are you just or are you not talking at all?
Mellow sections where me and Tom are doing over 100. He starts singing 100 bottles of beer on the wall. Anytime we break 100, he starts singing that.
Wow.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It breaks the mood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Berger and I talk about stuff like all the way through, but really just different subject matters, very varied is the best way I can explain it. But we've talked about, lots of different things. We've had a really cool time out here over the years because when this was virgin to us, right, the trails, we didn't know them all. Like, we'd call sections different names. Like, when you're on Fissure and you get to one spot on it, all the rocks look like dinosaurs. They look like they're laid out dinosaur rocks, right?
Right.
So we talk, we're like, oh, we got to that cool dinosaur section, and we just kind of make little tiny paths through everything. Here's that line on the right that looks like this or whatever, and we just keep checking those boxes off.
Okay.
And that kind of keeps us flowing the whole time, so we don't get feeling like, oh my gosh, I got to run 27 more trails.
Right.
You just kind of pick off one at a time, one little thing, and so we're always communicating about it. And we've had some pretty wild conversations. I actually think Jeff Mello and I had the wildest conversations. I was a co-driver in 2008.
Okay.
And the guy from Static X, Wayne, was the flag man for the race. He started the race. Well, I don't know what you call the starter, but the person who started the race, Grand Marshal,
yeah.
right? So he was waving the flag. It was raining that year, which I'm always kind of tripping if it's going to be a rainy year this year. It just looks like it could be.
Yeah.
But,
I honestly wouldn't be upset. Keeps the dust down.
Yeah.
depends on where you start. I'll be upset because I'll be cold and wet, man. I don't know about you. California desert. I was hoping for some sunshine, bro.
When was the last time you didn't start on the pole or the front row?
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it, but it was 7 years ago.
Yeah. So I'd imagine you want all the dust you could get.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm smart always starting up front like that. I think it's kind of a good advantage to be a little bit back, but I can't calm down on qualifying day and want to go out there and just go as hard as we can. So hopefully we get a good start this year. But when Wayne waved that green flag, you couldn't help but notice his wife. So his wife was something else, right? Just tattooed head to toe, piercings everywhere, huge bolt-on parts, fully aftermarket accessorized, right? And so Jeff's like, whoa, look at her. I'm like, yeah, that's his wife. She's a porn star.
What?
And he goes, how could you have a wife that was a porn star? Well, that was like awesome. I mean, that's 4 hours of discussion right there, right?
You got the pros and cons.
I mean, it didn't end. So we had a blast in that race, So it was definitely awesome. That's a good way to start the race, just in case anyone's looking for a grand marshal position.
Set the tone.
That's awesome. That's so good. So good.
Oh boy!
Holy smokes of stories. So what can you talk about this thing that's sitting over my shoulder? Can you say anything about this?
Yeah.
So Jason ended up in the 44 program with Ford Performance, and he gets to rock this really cool new body. And I ended up in their 4600 class. So it seems like we're going to get to race the new Bronco at some point.
That's so cool.
And I have to add on to that with what a cool thing it is that Ford has actually decided to use this as really a proving ground for them and the new Bronco. So, Bronco decided that they were going to involve themselves in racing. They're going to be out here. And, I mean, it's so cool because, they're supporting the sport. I mean, you guys can see they're like a presenting sponsor.
Sure.
That, it's the Bronco Arch now. They've come in here strong and to see what they're going to do. I mean, obviously this show is going to be on at the same time that they're going to launch this thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
The 4600 car is going to be awesome. They've put a ton of effort into it. They're building
They've really thought about everything. Like, they are on point and not holding back.
Yeah, it's a full engineering program behind it. The people at Ford are helping us, and they're in love with this whole sport. So to see them, kind of get the same enjoyment that we do out of it and have such a good time with it. And the new Bronco's awesome. I've been fortunate to drive it. Bailey's driven it. It's
truly almost a more nimble Raptor. You have that comfortability of just cruising, except it's not massive. Like, the Raptor is amazing.
It's
a
big
great
enough
car.
that you can put all your stuff in it and go camping and take everything you need from on a daily. Like, that's the problem with some of the other competing brands out there. They're just too small for daily life and everything. And these things drive nice down the freeway. They're amazing down a dirt road. I think Bailey and I were actually surprised when we drove it the first time together from the ranch out to one of the rock piles, and we were like, "Wow, this thing is." I mean, we're going 15, 20 miles an hour faster than I thought we were going to go in it.
Wow.
And it was smooth, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
We came up on a G out, and both of us were like, oh, man. And then it just kind of through it. It didn't even feel it.
Technology has been built into this new Bronco, and I think one of the coolest things I heard, and maybe you guys can back this up, is Terry Mattern was involved too, right? From doing some testing.
A lot of people. Terry was definitely.
But he was not a Ford guy. Is where I'm going with this. Is that he was not behind.
No, they went to a lot of people in the industry and did as much research as they could, and really did their homework to make the best car they could.
Yeah,
and
Brad and Roger Lovell were a huge part of the program.
That's killer. So what some of these features on this Bronco? What stands out to you guys?
So I think one of the coolest things for me, being a rock guy, is they have a cutting brake in it.
That's what we heard.
You can do a front, like, almost more of a legit front burn than most of the old competition crawlers, I would say. I mean...
Yeah, it's cool because they actually, like, unlock the rear diff, lock the inside brake all the way 100%, and the thing three-wheel drives and pivots around. But,
like, on a dime.
It's got, like, the good ergonomics that you find in, like, a Raptor or F-Series truck or something. You jump in it.
You just sit back
both
and relax.
Your elbows hit the center console and the door rest on there, and you put your hands on the nice steering wheel, and you're like, wow, the dash is awesome. The steering wheel's awesome. The visibility's great. You're like, oh, this is going to be such an upgrade to drive around and stuff on the daily and on the trails, and you're like, oh, they hit it out of the park on this thing. I mean, literally, we got out of it and we said they're going to sell 1 million of these, and that's probably an understatement. Wow. You know what I mean?
So would you say within a year? I mean, I haven't seen. Are they? They're not in the wild yet, huh?
I don't think they're in the wild yet, are they?
No. So the one that we're kind of sitting here in front of right now, which is kind of a production unit that we're going to turn into our 4600 race car.
Right.
And they'll be out in spring this year, spring to early summer.
Okay, right.
And unfortunately, for a lot of the people who want them right now, the demand was so high, as you guys know, that they're pushing out to like spring of 2022
That's
on those orders.
We've got a buddy that as soon as he could order one, he ordered one. Was one of the first guys and actually put in his physical order. Now he was on the list. Now he got the order in, but they're telling him, good luck this summer if it all works out.
So my question before I kind of went onto a rabbit hole there was, would this be a legit competition to like the Rubicon, Jeep Rubicons on the Rubicon? Would we see these a year from now or 2 years from now in large numbers on the Rubicon Trail?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that that's a good market to go after, but really, I don't think it was their total goal, which is actually smart, because there's so many of us who have done things like Cameron Steele's Trail of Missions, and you go, you know what? Sometimes you think that you could just drive anything down a dirt road, but once you get in a Raptor, you realize you can actually rip down a dirt road in one of these things, and it makes it a lot more fun to go out and do some of that adventure, camping, hunting, just getting out and doing stuff. And these really hit the sweet spot right there.
I think it's really the best of all worlds. It goes great down the highway. It cruises down the trail great. I think one of their first tests was going up Rubicon, wasn't it? So it still has that crawling heritage.
Sure.
You can throw a rooftop tent on the roof and go and get all your camping
for your
supplies.
buddy that's
The
a little bit
overlanders
out there.
are going to hit this hard.
Well, and especially your buddy that's going to be, a little bit out there. The aftermarket's already developed all these parts. So Ford Performance went to companies like Rigid and Four Wheel Parts and Warn and ARB, and they started making accessories for these before they're even out in the street.
Sure.
So what's going to be so cool is that this car will launch at the same time that all the products for them will launch. I mean, even our wheels were kind of designed around the right back spacing to make everything fit and all this stuff. So Fox has got shocks for them already. Just you look at it and you're like, you're going to be able to go buy this, and you're going to be able to shop for all your parts for what you want to do to make it customized to be perfect for you before you even get delivery of the vehicle.
Right.
And you're going to get to have that fun of building it all up with all the aftermarket support.
Cool.
That's great. Well, it sounds like you don't have to do a whole lot of aftermarket stuff to get. I mean, the average Joe that's going to be buying this thing, I can't imagine them, running the Rubicon 4 or 5 times a year with it. They may take it out there once, but
you can bolt factory or 37s on it from factory. Like
that's
we tested that out, and it literally just bolted on
right
37s.
Clearance is there.
That's awesome.
Clearance is there, and everything seems to be built really well to be able to handle it. So, yeah, it's something that, just to answer your question, I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be like a car you're going to say, like, let's go take the hard lines at Little Sluice Box. But, I mean, how many of us are really doing that all the time? Yeah, we all love it and everything, but I think the part of it where I got so hooked on Raptoring, which is what we kind of named it, it's going to fit that sweet spot where you can do both.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Right on. Well, it's a great looking rig.
Yeah, it is. This is the first time I've seen it in person, and I've been looking at a ton of pictures and video and stuff, and the stance on this thing and the look is pretty mean. So I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. It's cool that you're working with Ford and they're working with you, and man, you guys, you want to give some shout outs to some sponsors? I know we talked about a few, Fox and stuff, but anything else you guys want to add to the?
I think it's just cool to come out here to the Hammers and see all the people that are supporting the sport. Like, it's just such an incredible, place to go out and showcase all your products, meet with vendors, see all the people out here. So, all the people that are supporting me and everything and making this racing possible, they're all out here and they're supporting us, but they're also helping out all the other people, and it's just such a great environment for this thing right now. So I'm glad the race is going on. I'm glad all the sponsors are able to show up and represent their products and be out here and support all the racers.
Yep, we have great support, from top to bottom. And even more than that, our crew. I mean, you're rolling 20 deep out here. I have a really good 5-6 that follow me pretty much all over the country, and I don't think we could do any of this without them. I mean, they truly make the wheels turn. Me and Jason have the easy job. We just have to sit in the left seat and go fast, and they really make everything
Turn
possible.
that wheel, a pedal pusher, right? That's what you said before. Man. I'm just a pedal pusher.
I'm just the right pedal pusher. I sit here and smile.
So yeah, that dynamic. I mean, not only you guys combined, but I mean, your pit crews and everybody's combined and working together. And I know it's not hard to do because everybody's like best friends out here on the lake bed, and no matter who you're working for, pitting for, the support is tremendous, and that's great to hear. And I'm excited for you guys, man. This is a winning pair here. I go after Lauren and Von Gittin there. Their team up last year, so this is good.
And it's really cool too that we get to race all year together. I think for me, awesome. I've enjoyed so much the opportunity to go out and drive some of these other places over the years on the East Coast. I got to go to Roush Creek. I got to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. I got to see some of those places I would have never been able to go out and wheel really if I hadn't been racing. And now that we're getting to do it again this season is going to be awesome. So we're gonna do the whole East Coast series. I'm excited to see what Kentucky's like, and some of these other places. And then the North series is going to be cool too. And of course, go back and hit my favorite track, which is Crandon, and try to.
Is there anything like Turn 1?
There is nothing else like Turn 1. That's the true thing.
Crandon, I'd love to get.
All I want to be is about 8 car links out in front, though, because it's too scary at that speed.
Oh man,
isn't that Crandon?
Yeah.
What speed are you hitting Turn 1 at?
I can tell you 92 is a couple miles too fast. That's how you end up going in between 2 tractor tires at about 70.
As long as you don't go straight on with the tire. I'm sorry.
No, I slid.
Shannon
I've
really
seen that go poorly, though. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I checked up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Luckily, it was just in practice.
It's like,
Never lift.
That's what I think they say.
Never lift,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but you don't want to, because if you lift,
You
it
lose
causes
that
a chain
steering.
reaction behind everybody else behind you. And you might not actually be in the accident, but everyone else behind you is. So you have a responsibility to stand on
I
it.
see.
If you put yourself out front, you better stay out front.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh, that's great. And then they're going to do Moab again.
Yeah. You didn't go to Moab
Easter
last
Jeep
year,
Safari?
right?
No, and I've heard it's absolutely brutal. So, I'm actually a little bit nervous about it, to be honest.
Really?
So I raced 3 races out here last year at Hammers.
Yes.
And I was significantly better feeling at the end of the Friday race out here at Hammers than I was at the end of Moab.
A one-day race. And you
One
finished
day
fifth, right?
Yeah, finished 5th.
At
it was
Moab.
that
There
brutal.
would be a feat.
Violent.
Wow.
It's just, violent.
I have a side note for spectators, though. You can see the entire Moab course, even though it's not a short course, from spectator stands.
No kidding.
So I was able to spot for Bailey the entire race because I could follow it up and down the hill.
Wow.
So that's
Which
Mackenzie
is
that's
awesome.
speaking right now.
right.
Bailey's better half, would you
So
say?
it's similar
Way better.
to Wild West Motorsport Park.
No
where you
arguments
can see
there.
I was going to
most of
say,
the
yeah, like Reno. Reno, that's a great thing about Reno is where you sit in the stands and you see almost every part of the course. You see everything go down. I
Yeah.
didn't know Area BFE was like that.
So Area BFE is not quite a short course. It's not quite like that, but you can see them go up and then you lose them for a second and
Okay.
then you know what section to catch them in for the next part.
Right.
So you can keep track of where they're at better than, say, at Hammers where you're just waiting for them to come back to the main pit.
It would basically, if you've been out at Hammers before, it's basically like if we were sitting up on top of Means Butte and we were racing up and down like that short bus hill, like where qualifying used to be, and we basically go up and down the side of the mountain, up and over.
Wow.
And I think it's going to be cool to introduce a bunch of the hardcore fans that have come out there to see us over the years. They'll go, but of course we've got all the people that are out there for EJS.
Sure.
And they're going to be able to go out there and maybe experience something different that they haven't seen. And then when we go to
Completely different.
Sturgis.
Yeah,
Sturgis
Sturgis.
is going to be a whole nother animal.
Holy
I think we
moly.
may have the wildest fans at a Ultra 4 race ever there. And I'm super looking forward to it. I mean, if there's not, like a big, band and a fight and everything else there, we missed, because I have a good feeling it's going to be like a really wild Saturday
Holy
night.
moly, there you go.
Team
Right on.
Indiana is not going to be allowed back in Sturgis.
It's a one and done there, huh?
One and done. All you rock doggies, get out of here.
Wheeling, wine, and whiskey.
Oh, this is it's teed up to be a great year. This is the start of it here, KOH, as always, and super excited that
Absolutely.
We're here on the lake bed.
Yes, we
going
made it.
down. Cars are out there.
I hear V8s right now.
Yeah,
So
it's unbelievable.
Gentlemen,
Thanks so much, you
anything
guys.
else?
No, I really appreciate you guys having us on. And
thank
this is
you
awesome.
for taking your
you
time.
guys.
Seriously,
it's so good. We got into some great topics, and nothing was scripted, and as this was great. So, thank you. Best of luck to you guys. Not only
Absolutely.
here on the lake bed, but 2021 Rock Royalty Racing. Go out there and kill it, boys.
Thank you guys for having us, and looking forward to this year. It's going to be great.
It is
Heck
going to
yeah.
be great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome, you guys.
All right,
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, there you have it. There was some great info drop there.
Oh, my God.
Scherer went down these tangents of racing and all his experience, which was phenomenal stories.
Oh yeah, no, hearing about his experiences, of course, hearing about what their plan was for the trail, the rock sections.
The race, yeah, and talking about King's Graveyard and everything, and then Bailey. I think he brought it up. Did I? I didn't bring up the submarine thing, so he brought that
right,
up. So,
no,
that was good to hear his story on that firsthand.
Straight from the driver.
Oh my gosh, crazy stuff! But then, and his new wrap looks awesome on his car, and he changed his number to 13, lucky number 13, and he proved that it is lucky.
Exactly.
Because he's continuing to kick ass. A couple funny things though. When I was listening to this episode, we always preview the episodes and stuff and just see if there's any more edits or whatever. Chris does all the hard work of the editing, and then I give it the thumbs up or thumbs down. But he always does such a good job editing. There's very little edit by the time I get to listen to the cut version, I guess you could say.
The final cut.
Yeah. So I was laughing because here we recorded this a week before, and then the race, happened, and now we're time traveling through podcast land.
Right.
So now we know the results of the race, but it was so funny because I threw out the comment, Scherer was talking about how much horsepower this new Ford motor is putting out, this stroked out motor.
He didn't give us specific numbers. He just told us displacement, but not horsepower numbers.
But
he was happy.
Apparently, it puts out a lot, and he says it's a ton of fun. He's just over there just blipping the throttle like a little kid, and I go, hey, pro tip, you'll get better fuel economy if you don't blip the throttle. Holy hell, I hope I didn't jinx him because he ran out of gas.
Yeah, a couple miles from Hammertown, he ran out of gas, and as a lot of listeners probably aren't aware, I had to leave KOH the Wednesday before the big races, and middle of the week, middle of Hammertown or King of the Hammers week. I drove home, but I was able to watch the races on my big screen at the house.
Right,
and I'm sitting there watching the race, and at one point the drone covered this guy running through the desert in a race suit, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And then the commentator is like, that looks like Jason Berger.
It's Jason Berger, who's aka CrossFit Sally, who runs a CrossFit studio in Truckee, and is just a certified badass. I mean, back in the day when the Jason and Jason team were doing rock crawling competition, rock crawling. And they're running these moon buggies and stuff, and I remember watching them at Donner, and Berger would literally have this ski rope attached to the roll cage to keep Jason Scherer from toppling over. And I mean, it was amazing the strength that he has, and then to watch him run through the desert with gas, I'm like,
he had they strapped a however many gallon gas can to his back.
Couple, and he had to go 2.5 miles each way.
Yep.
In the snow, uphill,
barefoot.
Holy heck, man! Incredible. But so I was like, damn. And then the Jason made the comment, Scherer, about King's Graveyard,
and the laser
and then so says, hey, I think we should have Cody laser cut some rest in peace signs for all the cars that are going to die up there.
Boy, that prediction came true.
Well, it turns out it was Cody Wagner's car that died up there.
Yeah,
So
we don't know the full story on what happened to
apparently, we need to pay more attention to our podcast that we record before the race, and then we'll let drivers know that what gets said that's what's going to happen.
Hopefully, we're not cursing races.
No, that was not cursing, but it was just interesting how that worked out.
Exactly.
So great interview, such great people. And icons of the sport there
for sure, and there's still a lot to happen in their careers for sure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this year with the Rock Royalty Racing Team and see how that the rest of the year turns out. There's some exciting races coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Moab and area BFE, got Sturgis, Crandon. I mean, it's going to be
East Coast Series, Kentucky.
Yeah,
looking at the whole calendar, it's like
love it.
They're going to be on the road a long time.
Yep, got
very cool.
That premium Ultra 4 subscription, so you can watch all the in-car footage and all that stuff. So
yeah, no doubt.
So that was a great interview. So since this episode is coming out the Tuesday after KOH, we wanted to go over the results from the races. So if you've been living under a rock and or working your ass off and haven't been able to watch the live feed at the time, and you can go back and watch it, on Ultra 4 Racing here, ultra4.com. So
we can start out at the beginning with the trophy trucks.
Okay, go ahead with the trophy trucks.
So the trophy trucks raced the weekend before.
Those things sound badass, by the way.
Oh my God! Well, they're what, $500,000 to $1 million trucks.
Oh yeah,
they're full on professional teams with helicopters. Some of them have their own helicopters that follow the truck as it's racing through the desert and whatnot. And they were coming by our campsite.
That's how we were welcomed to the desert, with the sound of trophy trucks practicing and choppers in the air.
That's right.
Welcome to Hammertown.
That's right. Well, so things went really well for Bryce Menzies, back-to-back,
Bryce,
2 years in a row.
Yeah, there you go.
He's kicking ass and taking names, and then, of course, Cameron Steele came in second for that race.
What was the time difference between those two?
Let's see, looking like not very much, like 6 minutes.
I knew it was close, yeah.
Yeah, pretty close.
Very
And
close.
Considering the race, these guys are hauling ass through the desert, and it's just crazy to watch these guys. And then wrapping up the top three was Kyle Jurgensen, and he was, pretty close. That was a pretty tight race. I mean, they were all super close. So, but yeah, so those are the trophy trucks. We're not going to get into the whole, all the placings and whatnot, but that's pretty cool stuff. The trophy trucks
and Cameron Steele right up top there.
That's right.
Again, Cameron Steele, Ironman in it, going through all these different, competing in all the events there.
Well, he raced in everything. I think he did the trophy trucks, the motos, the UTVs. He raced in everything.
Bailey was his right seat in UTV, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So let's talk about
so UTV's next.
UTV. All right, let's jump into the UTV results.
Yes.
So Kyle Chaney first. Cody Miller second, Phil Blurton third.
Right.
Okay, let's get into a couple other notables here. So Scherer, was ninth.
Okay.
And then Campbell was 13th, who built that chassis.
And his custom build.
The Wonder Woman car.
Because he could. Yeah.
He got the clear panels, like Wonder Woman's jet.
Exactly.
But yeah, he built that whole chassis and then put the Polaris guts in there.
Right.
Okay, and then Lauren Healy, 15th. Bailey Cole, 17th. Now, this was Bailey's first race with Honda. He is sponsored by Honda in the Honda Talon 1000. So, and those are cool, freaking side-by-side.
Well, there's no belt in those, right?
If I was to go out and buy one, I would be looking seriously at Honda.
Yeah.
Honda's always one of the last ones on market with the new fads and stuff, because they do all their homework and see what's working, what's not working, and then build a badass car. And then, and then Cam Steele 21st. So, anyways, UTV. It is amazing. That was a huge class. A lot of contenders.
By far the biggest. And a lot of the big dogs race in the UTV because they use that as kind of, they don't race all the same trails as the 4400 and the EMC.
Right.
But they use it as an opportunity, first of all, to get their feet wet.
Right.
But they also pre-run. It's kind of a pre-run for them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they get to see the course. And especially if you're racing all three races, like some of these top drivers are, UTV, the Everyman Challenge, and then of course the big show, 4,400. So let's talk about the Everyman Challenge results real quick.
Absolutely. So yeah, Everyman Challenge was in the past years. It's always been on Wednesday. This year they moved it to Friday, which a lot of drivers
were happy with.
Absolutely, because it gives them an opportunity to pre-run.
Yeah.
They always been like, well, we just got to the lake bed on Monday, and then we have to do, tech and, contingency, whatever, and then we don't have any time for pre-running, and so they were super happy about that. So, EMC went off on Friday morning, and we had the winner was Chase Caprera, pretty young kid.
Yeah.
And then you had Brad Lovell was number 2.
Yeah,
and then
won it last year.
Casey Gilbert, number 3,
right?
Car 618.
And then look who was 4th.
Cam Steele.
And who was his passenger?
Bailey Cole.
That's right.
Bailey Cole was his co-dog.
That's pretty cool. So I think I misspoke earlier saying that they were doing UTV, but no, it was the 4,800 class.
Right. And then you had Dan Fresh and then Levi Shirley. So Dan Fresh was 5th. Levi Shirley came in 6th, and Layla, right?
Yep.
Badass. I mean, he put that car had a little bit of an issue during qualifying.
Yeah, he didn't qualify very well, but he moved his way up in the ranks real quick.
He moved up fast during the race, which is typical. I mean, he's a great driver and a good guy. So, then we can round out the top 10. We had David Hartman at 7,
right?
And then Sean Rajski, number 8, Mike Johnson, number 9. And then Cody Young, number 10, was in the 10th place.
So these are in the overall. This is overall all the classes of Everyman Challenge.
That's correct.
Okay, but then we got a couple other people we just got to give a shout out to, right?
Yeah, notables. Yeah,
because
Ultra 4 Jones.
Ultra 4 Jones finished 11th in class, his 4,800 class, and 14th overall.
That's right. He's knocking on the door of top 10 for his class.
So
which is
his
awesome.
third 1, 2, 3 Ultra 4 race.
Right.
Okay, and this is his second Hammers. So of the 3, 2 of them are Hammers races, and he's completed both of them, and he keeps improving every year. So
right.
Anybody that had said that, oh, he's just lucky, well, he just proved him wrong this year that, hey, all his car prep works and pays off.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, no doubt.
Hashtag KOH prep.
No doubt. Another big notable is Justin Hall in the 4,500 class,
who finished 4th in his class.
That's correct.
And then 22nd overall.
That's right.
And his car looks badass, by the way.
Oh, yeah, the new livery looks really cool. Falcon tires.
Falcon. Looking great.
Yep, for sure.
And all right. Anybody else there that was our other drivers?
Oh, well, can't forget about Amber.
Well, Amber, absolutely. Unfortunately, timed out.
Yeah, she did not finish, but she gave it hell. She gave it her best effort,
Derek,
that's for sure.
With a welder, it was his first year. He unfortunately timed out as well. Our rider, the Rock Ranger, who was pitted right there next to. So you had the Rock Ranger, Ultra 4 Jones, and Derek all pitting side by side to each other, so it's pretty cool.
Yep.
I didn't get to talk to Ryder as much as I wanted to, but we'll definitely be circling back with you, Ryder. His first race, and unfortunately broke transmission, I believe, and so we'll have to cycle back and get his story. But
well, carnage is part of the game.
They all made it out there. They all made it to the start line and got into the race, which is a huge accomplishment. Got their cars banded, these brand new cars to them, and that they built, which is a feather in the cap right there. So welcome to Ultra 4 Racing. I know you guys are hooked now.
Well, you can't forget Eve.
And then Eve. So they finished first in their class.
That's right. They did. They kicked ass.
What did they finish overall?
I didn't see them in here.
They gotta have it. It doesn't.
Kyle Steglin, right?
Yeah. Kyle, come on, Kyle.
I don't see. There he is.
Oh, did they put him in there?
18th overall. Are you kidding me? That's awesome, Steglin.
I wonder how that worked though. But he only did one lap.
He only did one lap.
So,
but still, huge accomplishment.
18th overall.
Built an electric vehicle, totally untested. You know, I mean, the drivetrain
didn't even get
was
to run down to Hollister or anything.
Nope, and they weren't even sure what their economy, like fuel economy, battery economy.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
And he had one whole pack. He said the entire day with him that they never touched.
Oh, that's good news.
So they were getting great battery economy,
right? So
fuel economy. It is a fuel.
It's
a type of fuel.
Their range.
We're gonna cycle back with him and his sister to hear about their race and get all the ins and outs, but. So proud of all our drivers hanging out with Amber and her family all week. It's just incredible, and sponsored by Jesse Combs Foundation this year, which Tribe 16 stepped up.
Yes,
because Matt Howe is co-owner of the Jesse Combs Foundation.
Right.
I'm sorry, co-owner of Tribe with Adam Scherer and no relation to Jason Scherer.
Right.
But then President Matt Howe is president of
JCF.
We need a whiteboard. There's a lot going on here.
I know. Well, we can start
Hope our
coloring
listeners
on
are
the
following along. And we did a little Easter egg. We interviewed Amber and Matt Howe.
That's right.
On the lake bed. So that will be a future episode for your listening pleasure.
Not too distant future.
Yeah. So more to come on all those teams. It's been just like I say, just absolutely awesome to talk to all these people. All right, 4,400
big dog Saturday race.
Run what you brung. What do you got? Here we are, and. Hello. One of our local boys here, Randy Slauson, finished first again for his third time. And some people are saying, well, because he was co-dog in the first winner of the race there. So he's 3-time driver champion,
right.
1-time co-dog champion there. So very, very, very familiar with the Hammer trails and, I mean, gosh, where do you stop? I mean, this guy is a fabricator, Bomber Fabrication, has revolutionized some of the designs of these cars that are out on the desert. There's a lot of Bomber chassis running around, and so cool. Just we got to get him on the podcast. He said he'd do it. We just gonna come into a shop trip one day.
We got to go on a road trip.
When we go buy your Bomber chassis, we will record then. How about that?
That's right. Okay, perfect.
So, and then JP Gomez, the Gomez brothers, look at them. JP and Raul. Raul was, I saw him numerous times on course throughout day. And I mean, these guys, you can't always see their faces, but they're just smiling and having a damn good time out there.
That's what it's about.
Kicking ass. And it's great to see both of them on the podium. Who's number 4th, Chris?
I don't know. I can't see the screen.
You know who's 4th? Bailey Cole.
Bailey Cole.
Bailey Cole.
Number 13.
There he is. Boom. Hello. The young gun.
Yeah.
I love it. We're definitely keeping an eye on him. Yes. And definitely another strong KOH for him. It's just a matter of time before he's on that top.
Not too long.
Top box there. Von Gittin Jr. With the new Bronco that was released, the huge reveal on Wednesday, which is very cool. There are new bodies that they have on their cars, and those things are just impressive machines. Rusty Blyler.
The father.
Always up there. Yep. Josh won last year.
Right.
Eric Miller, 7th. There you go. Another solid axle car. And what won this year? Oh, solid axle car.
That's right. 2 years in a row.
But then another one of the proven IFS cars, Levi Shirley.
Ooh, Levi.
On the 8th position, number 81. Nice. Levi is such a solid guy. Do we even say anything that we might
we may have talked
to him?
I don't know.
Okay. Jason Blanton with his psychedelic tie-dye paint job that he has this year. That definitely...
The suits, the race suits matched
everything,
the car. Everything. Was all the theme was working.
I want to know what conversation was going on in the garage and what was going down.
My Little Pony.
Alcohol or whatever, but holy smokes. It does look... The wrap came out great.
Yeah.
Bailey Campbell 9th, but it wasn't Bailey driving. It was her car. It was Ryan Miller.
Right.
Part of the Campbell Enterprises there. So that was great to see. Ryan's a great driver in his own right. Obviously, finished top 10.
Yep. Bailey will be back in the driver's seat next year. She's just a little pregnant right now.
Yeah, little prego. She was out there though.
Oh, I didn't see her.
Got to wave at her.
Oh, good.
When we were sitting on Matt Howe's, I was sitting on the hood of Matt Howe's Willie's when we were driving through Hammertown. So she recognized Matt, and I gave her a parade wave. Yeah,
nice.
She waved back. She didn't know who the hell I was, but she waved back.
Well, see, everybody should know who we are now.
So,
do you know who I am?
No, but yeah, that's super cool. Brian Crofts knows who we are. He listens to us.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah, we got to get him on, too. There's so many people that we got to get going.
No doubt.
All right. I mean, I got to keep going here because these names, I mean, let's look at this. Okay. Number 11, Jason Scherer.
Jason Scherer ran out of gas.
Now, had he not run out of gas, where would that be? Who knows?
Well, he was leading the race for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then Cam Steele took over. And
right.
Then, well, we don't know how that kind of shook out. But yeah, ran out of gas and still managed to finish in a respectable position, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Hunter Miller.
Nice.
Finished 13th.
In a Can-Am.
Can-Am.
Just like you and I are sitting there staring at each other.
Well, we looked at this car. My buddy Tom and I, we were looking at this car, and I mean, obviously it's modified, but it ain't that modified to be running the same race course as a 4400 unlimited car.
Especially it's the same car he ran 2 days before.
I was going to say, yeah, and finished 13th in the Ultra 4 here. I mean, holy smokes.
So that just gets beaten up and put away. It's like beaten like a redheaded stepchild.
Lauren Healy 14th. I know he got hung up in was it Sledgehammer? I believe he got there was a bunch of trail tampons out there, and it was a mess, and he was not happy about that. But that's unfortunately racing.
And he had some breakage too.
Yeah, he had a driveline. Levi Shirley gave him a spare driveline that just happened to work on his car.
How cool is that?
Again, I love these stories that come out after these races. Shannon Campbell 15th. So always in the hunt there. Josh Blyler, last year's winner, finished 16th. So, it just keeps going on down the line. But, yeah, I mean, Kyle Chaney to finish first in the UTV and then to finish 12th in the Ultra 4.
4400.
A couple days later.
Yeah.
So... anyways, you can see all this stuff, of course, on the Ultra 4 website, but just had to talk about that since we were one of the first podcasts to start talking about Ultra 4.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
The fastest growing off-road podcast.
In the United States.
Yeah.
And Australia.
And Canada.
And Egypt.
And what was the other one? Was there one Hungary or something? Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Never been there. I'm going to put that on my bucket list right now. Write that down. Bulgaria.
You and Dilbert can hang out together.
Heck, yeah.
Or Dogbert.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we've got a solid, handle on, or a good start, I should say. We did we did our pre-KOH stuff. We interviewed Kevin Jones and his co-dog Robert,
right?
That released last Thursday because we were still on the lake bed and trying to figure stuff out. So it came out a couple days late. Apologies there, but ton of great content coming your way.
Absolutely, it's gonna be like a flood.
So buckle up, Buttercups. Hope you enjoyed this one. I know we did. It was always great talking to Bailey. It was great getting Scherer in the studio, in their tent, their race tent for the first time.
Yeah,
sitting down with him.
Meeting going next door. If you listen, you can hear background noise.
They're working on cars.
It was awesome.
And then there was a Bronco over our shoulder on 37s, brand new Bronco.
Yep.
I was just salivating the whole time. I mean, I was happy as a clam.
Choice.
I was
Is it gonna be
first
a Bronco
day
or a Raptor. Bronco
first day,
or Raptor,
first
Bronco
night
Raptor.
at KOH. I get to see finally the Bronco live and in person. Get to talk to Bailey Cole and Jason Scherer. in their tent.
Kicking it off right.
That's the way you start KOH right there, Chris.
Hell yeah.
God, I want to go back now.
Well, it's 364 days away.
Well, there you go. -7 because we get there a week early. Maybe we'll get there 2 weeks early this year.
I don't have unlimited Jason time, vacation time.
Well, you know.
All right.
All right.
That's cool. So if you want to get a hold of Jason or I, you can send us an email at Jason or Chris at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. You can also catch us on our website, wheelingwineandwhiskey.com, where you have links to our Patreon. You have links to all of our podcasts, all of our episodes of our podcasts. And you can also catch us on the gram at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Yes, the gram is growing. We got to mention you need to look back if you haven't been following along. I know I'm getting caught up with the gram from being on the lake bed with limited service, but we got a Element 2, not one, but 2
right.
Element E50 giveaway going on this month of February.
3 more weeks.
So go back to that post, the original post that I did. You need to like us. You need to like Element, official Element, I believe it is, and then tag 3 friends in the comment section.
That's correct.
And you are entered into the contest for 2 E50 fire extinguishers.
That's a $160 value.
At least. I'll add this, but I'm going to add. I'm going to add.
There's more.
But wait, if you act now, throw in 2. So on my doorstep was a package.
Oh yeah. Was it ticking?
No, it wasn't, but it was the size of like a box that could tick. It was a nice little square box.
That's good.
From Hustle Nuts.
Oh,
Mr. Hussman sent us 2 Fire Element E50 fire extinguisher holders that he custom built, painted red, and they're stout.
They are, no doubt. They're
the
legit.
ones you buy off of the Element website are good, but of course Hussman, the way his engineering mind works, he looks and he goes, I can build a way better one.
We're going to make it better.
And he did for his buggy, so it's been tried and true on his buggy.
Right.
And then he says, hey, can I throw a couple of these in the contest? I'm like, heck yeah.
So there you go.
So now this keeps growing.
Yeah.
So thanks goes to Hustle Nuts. He's Hustle Nuts on Instagram. Look him up, Jason. He's got some cool builds. If you ever need a mailbox that will take out a car, come see
or a tank.
Look. He built a badass mailbox. So
don't hit this mailbox.
Yeah. Just always, you never know what's coming out of his garage next. So look him up, Hustle Nuts on Instagram. Chris, I think that's all I got right now.
Well, there you go. Boom. KOH coverage continues, and we are out.